I'm Susie Miller. I'm a real estate agent here with Keller Williams Premier Realty and the operating partner here at the office. And we thought it might be helpful for those of you that are first-time agents, that what it might be like to be out on a showing. And so we're going to go through and kind of walk through the property as if you were showing your buyers or your clients. So first of all, come on in. The first thing you may want to know is that obviously in this case we don't have a lockbox, and we'll do a training on that later. But if you have the lockbox, whether it's a center lock or a combination lockbox, and you take the key out and open the door, be sure to leave the key in the lock. Sometimes what happens is you'll be walking around the property and showing your buyers around, and ultimately you'll drop it or you'll stick it in your pocket and then you can't find it, or a child picks it up and walks away with it. So I always leave the key in the lock so that I know exactly where it is to remember to put it back in the lockbox. So I also will arrive early to the property and go ahead and go inside and turn on all the lights. I may open up blinds so that it shows well. And then when the buyers arrive, I can ultimately meet them at the door. So let's go on in. So in this case, I'll go ahead and turn on all the lights to the property. Doesn't look like we have any window dressings. Turn on all the lights, kind of take a peek as we go. Nice big room. Try that again. There we go. And notice the blind is shut, so I would probably, in this case, go ahead and open it up just so that it gives the illusion that everything is nice and bright and open, okay? We have a light in here. Great. So now the property's staged. So when my clients show up, the house will present really well. Always have a multiple list sheet with you. I typically print out the agent full listing so that I can read and be sure that I know any agent to agent remarks that are made in that listing. But I also create a client list as well. So I'll print out the MLS sheet, the client full sheet, and then attach all of the disclosures that are uploaded to the system. And then the buyer can have this package when they're touring the property. So generally, once I've gone in and turned on the lights, then I have arrived early and therefore will be waiting for the buyer when they show up. As they come to the door, I always greet them at the front door and welcome them into the property. So come on in. Welcome home. Now, once they enter the house, you may or may not decide, depending on how the relationship is with your buyer, whether you will follow them around or whether you will lead the tour. Typically, I've already spent some time with these buyers, so I know some things that might be important to them. They wanted a house with hardwood floors. It had to have a fireplace in it. They wanted it conveniently located. So when we begin the tour, I may bring those things up and point them out as we go. So for this training, I'll kind of lead the buyers through just to give you an idea of what that might sound like for you when you're showing your people. All right, so welcome to the house. This is absolutely a beautiful room. You can see the nice bright windows. It looks like the windows have been replaced. Hardwood floors. Looks like this might be electric or hot water baseboard heat. Beautiful fireplace. This doesn't look like it's a wood burning. This looks like it's gas. And I know you liked a nice big open dining room space. this case, you've got your 2 windows. Again, the hardwood floors. I knew that was important to you. This house looks like it's move-in ready. Nice painted, crisp walls. Kitchen in this house is pretty spacious. Appliances, Duke and Bay. And then not only do you have this dining room space, but you also have a kitchen space as well to be able to utilize. Maybe a little corner dining table would fit nice in here. This property does have a walk-up attic, so we can take a look at that before you go. The bathroom has been remodeled, been updated. Tasteful for being pink. I know you were looking for an office space in addition to a master bedroom with the 2 windows and the hardwood floors. This might be perfect as an office space for you. This is the larger of the 2 rooms that are here on the first floor. Nice big closet. Again, this just really feels nice and bright and airy. Central air conditioning. And then of course it has a nice flow to it. You get to see yourself entertaining in this space. So what do you think? Is this someplace you think you can see yourself living? That might be questions. And so as you're prompting your buyers as you go through, it's always good to try to engage them and get as much information out of them as they're touring as possible. If this house isn't for them, you may ultimately glean some information as you are touring them for the next property that you see. All right, so as we kind of wrap up the tour, I just want to make sure that we go back and touch on a couple of things that you may or may not know when you're out with your buyers for the first time. The first thing is when you're touring through the property, it's really important that you don't necessarily let your buyers kind of meander through the house freely. Not that you want to stay on top of them and be looking over their shoulder at every move. Just find that balance of what's comfortable. Sometimes you may have buyers that want to know if they can use the bathroom or not. It's kind of one of those things. I'd prefer that they not use bathrooms in someone else's home. However, sometimes you might have to allow that. Just know that anything that would happen in the house, you would always want to make sure to contact the listing agent and be sure that the listing agent is aware. We unlocked the door and the key broke off in the lock. We flushed the toilet or turned the water on and the handle broke. Be sure to contact that listing agent right away. We would want to know that as a listing agent, so in turn we wanted to do business at a really high level of expectation. The other thing is from a safety perspective, obviously you're going to want to meet your clients and buyers ahead of time. You want to have the relationship with them before you ever get into a property and be showing it, especially vacant properties, for safety, obvious safety reasons. So when you are ready to close up, the tour's over, they've seen what they've seen, they may or may not like it, it's always important that you allow the buyers to leave the property and head to the car. You might say something like, I'll meet you at the next property, I'm just going to go through here and close up. You may tell them that you'll meet them at the car in the parking lot to discuss further. But in any case, let them leave for the purpose of being able to go back through the house to turn off all the lights, to be sure that all the doors are locked, there's no windows that may have been opened. Leave the house in the same fashion that you found it in. It's a pet peeve of mine as the operating partner and the operating principal here in the Market Center. I can't stand it when agents don't turn off lights and they don't make sure doors are locked. So for us, always do that. Walk back through, turn off all the lights, lock all the doors, and be sure it's secure. All right, thanks for joining us today.